So my film it's a bit more recent. It's not this year, or even last year. It's from 2017. It's a film called Forgotten, um, and it's a Netflix film.
Is it? I
Um,
don't think I know this one.
no, I mean I didn't hear about it. It quite possibly got like a bit of advertising when it came out, but it wasn't something that I picked up on back then anyway. So I don't know. It kind of went under the radar a bit for me at least. But
Yeah, and
I
for
don't know if
me.
it did for everyone. But yeah. So it's written and directed by Hangjun Zhang, and it's starring Hanyul Kang as Jinsuk and Moo Yol Kim as Yusuk, and they are brothers in this thriller mystery film.
Okay.
And so the basic premise of this film, and it's quite difficult to explain the plot of this film because there are a few twists in it that kind of change everything quite soon. So I can only really tell you about the first third
Okay.
before it kind of all unravels. But it's basically it opens in and there's a family. So it's two parents and their two sons, who I've introduced already, and they've just moved to a new house in the suburbs of Seoul, and they've moved in to this building, and they've been told that the old resident, the last person that was living there, has a room in the middle of the house which is locked and no one can go in, because he hasn't had a chance to take that stuff with him to his new place.
I'm going to take a punt and say someone goes in.
Oh, well, yeah. But yeah, so there's that. And quite early on, the older brother, that's Yusuk, gets abducted
Okay.
and disappears for 19 days. And a police investigation ensues. And the younger brother, who is kind of the protagonist in this, it seems that he's dealing with a lot of anxieties and stresses. He gets a lot of night terrors. And so things start to play on his mind a bit, and he's taking his medication. But then his brother returns, but things are a little bit suspect when his brother comes back.
Something's not quite right.
Not quite right.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say too much after that because there's way more into it, and I don't want to ruin it because literally, if I say anything, it will turn into spoilers.
That's cool. We're strictly no spoilers here, so that's fine.
Yeah, but as a film, I thought it was really interesting because there are elements of it's a thriller film with kind of a mystery subtext, but there are elements of horror which are kind of punctuated throughout the film. And there is kind of there are a few different things going on all at once, which actually works a lot better than I thought it would. Because sometimes when you throw in a few things that are like maybe a bit jump scary or like things like that, you think, oh, this is like cheap gimmicks to try and kind of boost the credibility of a movie, so that more people are like, oh, well, we can sell it as a horror movie now, so we can scare people or something. But it's not like that. I think you'd like it because it's really bleak as well.
Awesome.
So yeah,
What was it called again?
It's called Forgotten.
Forgotten.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to jot that down real quick.
But in terms of production, again, I think the writer and director, I haven't really got much of an experience of Korean cinema other than kind of being introduced to it very recently from watching Parasite. But
Which I think would be the case for a lot of people.
yeah, but it's it's really impressive production value. There's cinematography is not spectacular, but it's good, and it's like it's a very well put together film. Obviously, being a thriller with so many twists and turns, there is that whole thing about like, oh well, is it a predictable film or is it like frustrating? Are there lots of plot holes and things? And I couldn't really pick any plot holes in it. But I would say it was a little bit predictable, but in a satisfying way.
Yeah,
So-
you don't mind that it turned out the way you thought because it was enough.
And when things tie together at the end and everything kind of wraps itself up, it wraps itself up in a very neat little bow. Um, but you actually feel kind of like you feel good about it. It's not like one of those things where, oh, they just wanted to like wrap things up because the movie's getting on a bit. And it's not too long a movie either, which is something I've been complaining about for ages. But
Yeah, anything over 2 hours, you just seem to automatically dislike.
yeah, well, this was 1 hour 48, so it's definitely in the safe zone. But also, it was really well paced, I thought. The acting was pretty solid. Um, Again, that's something like it's very difficult with foreign language films to judge acting based on the dialogue because it's harder to pick up like intonation
Yeah.
in speech and things like that. So in terms of kind of their physical acting, it's pretty good. You know, obviously there's a few action scenes in it, so they could have been better. They may be a bit hammy or whatever,
Yeah.
but you know, like it was a pretty solid film, I would say. And so to give it a rating, I was trying to think here. I was like, it wasn't an amazing film, but it was a good film. And I was kind of thinking somewhere between 6 and 7, and I kind of wanted to say 6.5, but I don't know. We haven't allowed like
I think that's a
half
whole
places.
can of worms that we're going to open up if we start doing decimals.
Yeah, so it's hard. It's a 6 or a 7. So whichever one I say, know that it could be the other quite easily. I'm going to say 6.
Fair.
Okay.
Went safe there, but sure.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. No, I'll probably check that out. As you say, it sounds bleak enough for me.